Hey everyone, I'm Jacob, and I found out my wife has been poisoning me for years. So, let me start from the beginning. My wife, Emily, and I had been married for over a decade. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. We had a loving relationship, a cozy home, and shared many happy moments. But for some time, I'd been struggling with mysterious health issues. I'd feel nauseous, exhausted, and generally unwell, but no matter what I did, I couldn't seem to get a proper diagnosis. Doctors ran countless tests, but everything always came back normal. I started to feel like I was losing my mind. I was tired all the time, and no matter how much I rested or changed my diet, nothing seemed to help. I even tried different doctors and specialists, but no one could explain why I felt so terrible. Then, one day, I was catching up with an old friend of mine, Mark. He's a pharmacist, so when I mentioned my ongoing health problems, he listened with genuine concern. Mark suggested something that honestly seemed like a wild theory at first. He wondered if it could be poisoning. I laughed it off, thinking it was a bit dramatic. But the idea lingered in my mind, and I couldn't shake it off. I decided to dig deeper into this idea, even though it felt absurd. I started paying closer attention to what I was eating and drinking, particularly anything prepared by Emily. I kept a journal and made note of when my symptoms worsened. After a few months, I noticed a disturbing pattern. The worst symptoms seemed to follow meals that Emily had cooked. At this point, I knew I had to take action. I discreetly started saving samples of my food and drinks. I didn't tell Emily about my suspicions. I didn't want to alarm her or make her suspicious. I reached out to a trusted friend who worked in a lab and asked for help in testing the samples. The results came back with a horrifying revelation. Traces of a toxic substance were found. With the evidence in hand, I knew I had to confront Emily. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I confronted her with the results and asked her point blank if she had been poisoning me. At first, she was in denial, but as I showed her the evidence, she broke down. She confessed that she had been poisoning me deliberately, driven by a twisted sense of revenge and control. Emily admitted that she felt trapped in our marriage and thought that by making me ill, she could manipulate me and gain control over our relationship. Her confession was a brutal blow. I was devastated, not just by the physical harm, but by the betrayal of someone I loved and trusted. Emily was arrested and charged with poisoning, and I had to begin the long process of recovering both physically and emotionally. The trust was shattered, and the psychological impact of the betrayal was profound. It took me a long time to come to terms with what had happened and to start rebuilding my life. I share this story not to shock or sensationalize, but to remind everyone that sometimes the people we trust the most can harbor dark secrets. Trust your instincts and always take care of your well-being. If you found my story gripping or unsettling, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Reddit Stories Vault for more real-life stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear if you've ever experienced something that made you question the trust you had in someone close to you.